Hi, hello, how are we? Welcome back to my channel. It's Anna. So I figured for the first video of 2023, like the only obvious option is to go over my goals for the year as well as what I'm planning on making. I was thinking about doing like what I'm making this year, but then I thought that was kind of dumb because I really plan in seasons. Like there's no way that I'm gonna have a list of everything that I'm gonna make this year. First of all, because I haven't seen all the patterns that I want to make yet. Second of all, I haven't thought of all the patterns I want to design yet. And third of all, I'm not going to stick to a list. That's not going to happen. So I figured the best way to go about this is break these videos up. The goals is just going to be this one because I don't know, I'm like a year-long goal type of girl. So we'll do goals and project plans in this one. And then for spring, summer, and fall, we will also break down what I'm thinking of making each season like that. I think this is really fun. I'm super excited to do it. It's a nice little sister video to the everything I made in 2022. Now we're setting our intentions for 2023. So I figured it is best to start with goals. I have a couple. Per usual, I have everything written down on my little iPad. Don't look at my notes. Don't spoil it, please. Thank you. My first goal for the year is to be more intentional with both of my crafts. I predominantly crochet and knit, and I would like to be more intentional with both. And by intentional, I don't mean only making things that I'm going to wear every single day. I don't mean, you know, limiting what I'm making, whatever. I just mean making things that actually genuinely bring me joy, that I'm enjoying the process of, that I'm enjoying the finished outcome of. And being more intentional with like my mistakes, and I'm going to elaborate on that one a little more. One of the things I'm going to show you, I started like doing the finishing components of it, and I did like a try on halfway through and realized it is simply much too short. It's not like where I wanted to hit at all. So I'm like, what, instead of putting this into the scrap pile for months and months and never finishing it, I should probably just undo my work, pick up my stitches again, and keep going and add some more length to it. I know that's obviously not going to complete my project faster, but I know it's going to create a project that I'm going to wear more. I just want to be more intentional with what I'm making because I find myself starting a lot of things and not having the energy to finish them. I think that's mainly because I take on too much at once. I get too excited about too many things at once, and because as of right now and for, you know, the first 6 months of this year, I'm going to be a student before I graduate, and then after that I don't even know what my schedule is going to look like, you know. But for right now, I don't have the time in my day to finish projects insanely quickly. So I want to get better at starting projects that are genuinely going to make me happy to make, that I'm going to really enjoy the outcome, be intentional with making sure that I'm fixing my mistakes so that I actually wear these things and finish them, and not getting bored or frustrated or whatever and tossing them aside for months and months and months to never finish them again. I just don't think that's worth it. I don't want to do that anymore. It never makes me feel good. It makes me feel overwhelmed. So that is the first thing I want to fix and set forth in this new year. My second goal is to release at least 1 crochet pattern and 2 knitting patterns. I started on YouTube as a crocheter, but as I learned to knit, I've really fallen in love with that craft too. I'm especially in love with knitted sweaters and cardigans. I just am such a big sweatshirt person that, you know, garment making is like the thing that like has my heart. So I've very much leaned towards knitting kind of recently. Not that I don't love crocheting, let's put that out there, but you know, I would like to also establish myself into the knitting community. I think I'm in the crochet community a little more than the knitting one. I would just like to have a mix of more patterns. So I would like to put out another crochet pattern. I actually put out a tester call for one recently, so I'm already on track to completing the 1 crochet pattern goal. I have some ideas that I'm going to talk about later for some knitting patterns, so we'll see what I can do. My third goal is I want to use up and or sell or donate my yarn stash. I have a lot of lovely yarn right now, but not all of that yarn is yarn that I'm like reaching for anymore. It was yarn that I bought in the beginning that I liked when I was first starting crocheting, and as I've kind of moved on and moved and learned more in both crafts, crocheting and knitting, I just don't really reach for these yarns anymore. I don't have anything against them. I don't even, like, a lot of them are like Big Twist or like Red Heart or whatever. They're fine yarns. Like, it's genuinely nothing against them. I just don't ever reach for them. I have other yarns that I've been reaching for more often that I prefer more, and those ones have just sort of sat in my yarn stash. So my goal is to either make some scrap projects to use up the yarn that I do want to use, or donate slash sell secondhand the yarn that I'm just not going to use myself. I just want to be more intentional with the way, you know, I have yarn and use yarn and the yarn that I already have, because I love pretty yarn. Like, it's half the fun, let's be honest, but I don't want to keep falling down this rabbit hole that I've kind of like put myself in, into like buying yarn that I'm never going to use. So being more intentional like that. And then finally, that leads into number 4, which is buying my yarn more intentionally. I would like to look to support more local yarn shops or buy some higher quality, nicer yarn when I'm looking to buy. This goes hand in hand with I'm looking to buy yarn less. So because I'm looking to buy yarn less, I can save up my money and use it on yarn that is maybe of a quality that I would prefer a little bit more. That's just my personal preference. I don't say any of these things to shame anyone for any of the yarn they get, and I'm not saying you have to get really nice yarn for your crafts to be valid or anything at all. I'm just saying that I've decided I want to look for more small dyers, local yarn stores, things like that to support, because if I'm going to put my money towards yarn, I would like to have it be high quality, really nice, support small, all that good stuff. Especially because if I'm trying to craft more intentionally, I'm not going to be making as many projects. I won't need as large of a yarn stash to like pull from at this time, at least. Overall, the themes of my 2023 are just crafting more intentionally, being more intentional with the way I'm buying and all of that good stuff. So I am going to try very hard to hold myself to this. I am very much a pretty yarn, give me it now person. So we'll see. I'm gonna try my best though. So those are all my goals for the year. I have those 4. I have a couple like other ones written down that are like my own YouTube and whatever goals, but those are the ones in terms of crafts that I'm sharing with you guys. So let me know down below what your goals are. If you have any tips for me, let me know those too. And as you do that, let's just get readjusted and get comfy, and we're going to jump into the next part, which is talking about my knitting plans for winter. I have so many, I'm so excited. Okay, so I have all of my stuff, or at least I'm hoping all of the things that I need sitting in front of me. So I'm just gonna go through kind of what's here. We're gonna start with the things that I started in 2022 and I'm gonna finish in 2023. So first up, we have this scarf for my brother. It is based off the Doctor Who scarf. I'm talking quieter because he's upstairs and I don't want him to hear. I don't remember what yarn I'm using for this. It is a DK weight and I'm using 5mm needles. So like, I'm just doing garter stitch. So it's not taking me terribly long. Honestly, this is a really nice project to do at the end of the night when I'm just sitting and watching something and relaxing after working all day. And I just want something mindless because of course I have to do something with my hands as I'm watching something. Like, I'm conditioned to myself at this point, so this is a really good mindless one. I'm just knitting back and forth, which is really nice. This next one I started in 2023, but it's at the top of my pile, so I'm gonna include it next. But this is the For the Love of Waffles cardigan version. So I just have this much done. This is a pattern by my friend Jamie. I made the For the Love of Waffles jumper, but my grandma saw it when I wore it to Thanksgiving and she was like, I need one of those, and I'm like, okay. Like, if anyone else asked me for a sweater on the spot, I'd be like, you're crazy. You learn to do it. But my grandma gets an exception. So grandma gets a cardigan, and I decided to make the cardigan because that's more her style than a sweater is. And Jamie has both patterns, so I don't even need to like adapt it, so it's perfect. So that's what I'm working on with this, and I'm using Wool and the Gang yarn. It's this beige color. Don't know the color, so sorry, but it is Wool and the Gang Crazy Sexy Wool. And I'm hoping, this is ambitious, I'm hoping to finish it before I go back to school, which is in literally a week. So even though it's on chunky needles and I could do it, I have a lot of other work to do this week, so pray for me a little bit with that one because we'll see if I actually accomplish that. So this next project is the one that I was talking about. I was working on it last night. I tried it on and it wasn't fitting in the way that I wanted it to fit. So this is my friend Emma's Made in the Moments Blake canvas vest. Let me hold it up for you. This is what I have so far, and it is super cute, and the pattern is so easy to follow. And I was like, it's gonna be too long if I keep going. I'm gonna stop it here. And then I tried it on, I'm like, it's at my boobs. That is too cropped for my liking. So I'm like, you know what? I put it down last night, and like thinking about it today, I'm like, I'm gonna pick the stitches back up from like down here, and I'm going to add more rows and more length, and then start reshaping the arms, armhole and neckline area. So I'm a little bit annoyed that I'm gonna have to go back and fix it, but it'll mean that I'll actually wear the garment, so I'm gonna do it. Okay, next is another vest. I'm a lover of vests, but this one is gonna be a button front. It is one that I am kind of freehand designing as I go. This yarn is from Surella's Oopsie sale. She is a dyer. I found her on Instagram. I've used her yarn before, and it feels absolutely gorgeous and stunning. It is some of the softest yarn I've ever tried. And so every like 6 months or so, they have an Oopsie sale where any yarn that doesn't pass standard color-wise is like resold. So I bought some. And I just wanted to make a fun, funky little knit vest moment. I'm not great with color work or switching colors, so I figured those blocks would be a good way to get more comfortable with it instead of doing like super elaborate color work, because even though it's a lot of strands, the blocks are big, so it's a good like challenge for me without being too ambitious. And then finally I have this raglan crochet top. Here is the front of it. And then this is the sleeve. I'm following It's Erin B's tutorial. She is another YouTuber. It's a great tutorial. I started a video, like a crochet with me video, making this as like crochet with me. I'm making my first raglan because it's the first time I've ever worked top down. And then I just kept not working on it because I started it in like October or November at school. Like, I start ambitious things and then expect myself to finish them in like 2 weeks, fully have class. All of the time. Like, what am I thinking? So I would like to finish this. I think it's great for layering, and then as we get into spring, I think the color will translate to spring well. And I could do like a little short sleeve or a tank top moment under it. I don't know. I think it'd be so cute for layers. So I would very much like to finish that within the next couple months. So those are all the things that I already have started. These are my first, you know, priority. I'm going to try to finish these things before starting on these other projects I'm going to tell you about, with the exception of one thing, which I'll explain. I'm going to now get into the projects that I have planned to start once these ones are getting finished up. Got this super gorgeous chunky yarn in the summer. I don't remember the name. I talk about it in a video over the summer that I'm like, yarn that I have and what I'm planning on making with it, but this yarn is just absolutely gorgeous, stunning, amazing. Like, do you see the color variation? She is just breathtaking. But there was only one skein of this left. I turned it into a ball, but there was only one left, so it wasn't enough. I think I said I wanted to make a scarf with it, and there wasn't gonna be enough with just this one. There was only one, so I decided to get this color. It is color 243, raspberry pink, wool in the gang. So I'm gonna do a little half and half scarf moment. Did I say sweater before? If I said sweater, I meant scarf, because I'm gonna make a scarf with these two. So it's gonna be one half this, one half this. I think it's gonna be so cute, nice and cozy, because even though I like to believe winter is done because Christmas and the holidays have passed, that is just not true. It is just so, it is amazing how untrue that is. It is just getting colder. So I think this would be a nice way to stay warm and look really cute at the same time. This next part, if my girlfriend Caitlin's watching, stop watching for like 3 minutes. Just skip ahead 3 minutes. That gives like a good amount of clearance. Just please go. Okay, so the next project is like a 2-in-1 type thing. I have a couple skeins each of these two yarns from Plymouth Yarn. It's Encore yarn. This one comes in the shade 1233, and this one is 146. So I have maybe like 3 or 4 skeins of each, and my idea is, and I've had this for like over a year now. Once I buy things with intentions and then I never make them, but I want to make 2 vests. One for me, which is going to be a more like feminine style because I'm more feminine, and then one for my girlfriend who dresses more like androgynous. So a little bit baggier, mine's gonna be a little bit more fitted, like whatever. I haven't exactly come up with like my exact style in my head, but they're going to be matching kind of like inverse colors, and I'm hoping to write patterns for these. These are like the 2 patterns that I had in mind for knitting. That's what I want to do with these. I'm very excited. I want to do it around Valentine's Day to hopefully start testing in February. That's ambitious. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, but that's okay if I don't. That's just the goal for now, timing wise, because I want it to be within the first like 3 months of the year. And the final thing I don't have yarn for, because I'm just gonna pull from my stash. Like, I'm gonna find yarn that I already have and use that. But I want to make the Stay Toasty turtleneck, also by my friend Emma, who is Made in the Moment. That's probably how you know them. This pattern is just super cute. I have had it in my pattern library on my computer for a while, and I really want to make it. So I figured this would be a good way to use up some of the yarn that I have sitting around. I want to make it in like a kind of fitted style where it's more fit and cropped to my body, because it's a made to measure pattern, so I think that'll be adorable. That is the only sweater besides the raglan for myself, which is so funny because both the raglan and the Stay Toasty turtleneck are crochet, and I just said before that I liked knit a little bit more because I like sweater making. That's funny to me actually. And then also I'm making a mood blanket this year. I don't have any of my stuff with me, however I've been posting a lot about it on TikTok, so go check it out over there if you want to see like all the colors I'm using and stuff like that. I'll probably talk about that more at the end of the year. I'll do like a whole mood blanket video. I know I've talked about in the past not being huge on mood blankets or temperature blankets, but I figured out a way to do it in a way that would keep me inspired and enjoying it. So basically what I'm doing is throughout the week, Sunday through Saturday, I'm rating my day 1 through 10. And then at the end of the week, I'm taking the average. So I'm just adding all of the numbers up and I'm dividing by 7. And that number correlates to a number on my key. I have 8 different colors ranging from a week that was a 3 or less, because I don't really think I'm going to have a week that's like a 1. Or at least I'm manifesting that I don't have a week that's a 1. I will not. So I didn't even give myself the option. So a week that is a 3 or less, and then 4 through 10. So like this past week, my rating was a 6.64. So because it was a number that was 0.5 or higher, I rounded up to 7. So I used the color that was associated with 7 and I started the blanket, and all I'm doing is a huge granny square. So I just made the tiny little interior of the granny square, and then next week I'll do the next round and the next round and so on and so forth until I have a nice big blanket at the end of the year. I think it is going to be much more manageable for me. I was always really turned off by the idea of having to do something every day or catch up on everything at the end of the week. It was just really daunting for me, and I just didn't want to do it, so I did it the way I did it. And I think it's gonna work out well. I think it's gonna be cute. So I will talk about all of that more, obviously, as the weeks go. I'm gonna talk about it more on my TikTok. I'll try to remember to post on my Instagram, and then at the end of the year, I'm gonna do like a whole like wrap-up video and show you guys all of it. But if you want the in-betweens between now and the end of the year, you could check out my other platforms and see what I'm doing. And finally, the last category I have is like a collection category. These are things that I ordered yarn for and that I'm making bulk quantities of for something that I'm being a part of coming up, and I'll talk about that more when it happens. I get weird talking about things before they happen, even if I can. I don't know if I can. I'm just not going to talk about it. But I ordered a bunch of yarn to make purses, hats, and scarves for something. The yarn has to come in tomorrow. I have to make it. So let's hope it comes in, because I really got to get a groove on making those things. So I will be making all of those things within the first 3 months as well. And by first 3 months, I literally mean like this week. I'm just gonna be like cruising through. So that's the reason that I'm concerned I won't get my grandma's cardigan done, because I'm not sure if I'm gonna have a lot of time around making all of these other things. That is everything I have planned for this quarter. I know it seems like a lot, but most of these projects are half done already, and if I just get my groove on, especially while I'm home, I'll hopefully be able to tackle almost all of these. If I don't get everything on this list done within the first 3 months, I'm not gonna beat myself up over it. Like, I'm not gonna be super angry or upset. I just like having some sort of guideline for myself to follow, and I'm hoping that these guidelines will help me stay on track and craft more intentionally. I won't get off making too many other things when I have things in front of me that I want to accomplish. So that is kind of all I have planned for the winter 2023. I think it's a really good list and I'm excited about everything on it and everything that I have to make. So I think it's gonna be really, really fun. Like I said before, let me know your goals down below. Also let me know what you're thinking of making in the next couple months. If you have like a project on your like horizons that you've had your eye on or things that you've been working on, just let me know. I'd love to hear. And yeah, I hope you guys liked today's video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. It helps me know that you guys want to see more videos like this one. And also make sure to subscribe. That helps me out so much. And hit the post notification bell if you want to know every single time I post a brand new video. Like I mentioned, you can follow my Instagram and my TikTok. They're both linked down below. You'll see more like behind the scenes stuff over there than I post here on YouTube. It's really fun. I've been having a really good time just posting casually on TikTok or just some pals hanging out. I'm loving it a lot. All right, that is all I have for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I love you all so very dearly and I will see you next week with a brand new video. Bye everybody.